But Jason Lawhead, he's a stand-up comic. He's originally from Cleveland. He lives in California now, but he's been a comic for a long time. And I've chatted with this guy over the years, but now he's got a brand new show. It's called Eat With Me, and you can check it out. It's over on his Instagram. It's at Eat With Me TV on Instagram. It's very easy to remember. Lawhead's Court, which was his podcast. He's got a podcast, Lawhead's Court, on Instagram. That's what he chats with you on, at Lawhead's Court on Instagram. And then, of course, he's at Jason Lawhead on Twitter. So we got to talk about his TV show. We got to talk about how the hell he's doing in the pandemic, being a comic with, like, you know, comedy all but shut down, basically, especially out in California. It's crazy there. And then he's just a really funny, wonderful human being. Let's bring him in here. Jason Lawhead, how the hell are you, man? It's been a minute since I've chatted with you. How you been? I know the world's gone to shit, but seriously, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm unemployed right now. As you sit here, I'm 48 years old. I have no idea what's going to happen next, and oddly, I feel great about it. And I had a nice thing rolling. I really do. Remember when Michael Keaton got fired in Mr. Mom? At first, he was like, this is great. I'm just trying to maintain that attitude of Michael Keaton. I'm trying not to choke the boss, So that's kind of where I'm at. But I feel good. I'm lucky to have a really solid partner, wife in life. And so we've been able to kind of just navigate through it a little bit. And it's, like so many people have it worse than I do and we do. And have had hit a lot harder. People, we just got married 4 months before the pandemic. I was doing a little joke. Yeah, I was doing a joke. I go, I feel like we were the curse, we got married, right? No, I swear to God, hear me out. We got married. And then we went to Italy, throughout Italy for our honeymoon. And we ended the trip in Venice in late October. And literally when we got back to JFK 2 days later, Venice flooded. Like it went, like our hotel in the Grand Canal was like up to the lobby table in water. That's where we were like 2 days before. We were just there. And so, obviously we get through. It's like, holidays. By the time it's New Year, boom, COVID. It's like we went from 4 months married to 48 years in a month. I mean, we were just our whole relationship was built on the idea of absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
Right when she got tired of me around, I had to go catch a plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had to go do a gig. I had to go leave for 2 weeks or a week or 10 days. And, by 6 days, 6 or 7, we're like, oh, I miss you. I can't wait to see you. So then I would come home and it'd be great for 2 weeks. Now we just been in like a 7-month staring contest. It's just unbelievable. I swear to God. I don't know who's going to break first. No, but I kid about that. And she's been such a great sport because she's, an entrepreneur, and she is in the, health and beauty business out here in California, which has been like shut down, reopened for a second, shut down. But then she had some issues with the landlord where her salon spa she rented was, and on some back rent issues. So, we've had some challenges, and she's had to go out and maybe do a little mobile stuff here and there. And I've been able to pick up a couple of freelance, writing creative things that, come and go. They're not solid. They're not great, but, and I've been just digging in and busy on a lot of my own projects, some love projects I've wanted to do. And we're just trying to do the best we can with adhering to things too. We try to, I enjoyed my summer. I went golfing when we were getting $600 a week, and I enjoyed the beach when we were around here and stuff. But we've really been kind of just frugal and only going where we need to go. And
that's it, man.
We made a pact. I did another joke. I said, we were both former service industry people, and we made a pact at the beginning of this that we were going to treat every service industry, every person, every grocery store clerk, every barista, every person. We were going to go out of our way to be nice and kind and say thank you by name and offer to bag our own groceries. And I got to tell you, all of that has felt great. I mean, at home, we still talk to telemarketers like the scum of the earth they are. And oddly, that feels even better. But that's how I cope. That's how I cope with it. I'm like, I get this call. We run to the phone when we know it's spam risk. We can't wait to talk to that person.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh yeah, dude, that's incredible. Well,
so that's me in a nutshell to open up. So that's my monologue. But
that's not just it, because this is a perfect segue into one of the reasons why you're here today. Is you started. You're a wonderful stand-up comic. I love it. You're a huge sports nut. You love sports, but also one of your passions is cooking, man. And you started this new cooking show that you're doing. It's called Eat With Me. And it's like Eat With Meat, but you crossed out the 8 part. It's just Eat With Me.
Yeah, the A and C. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all vegan dishes, correct? Is it all vegan or just vegetarian?
It's all plant-based, which is I call it plant-based because it sounds a lot less feminine than vegan. Vegan's got that V at the beginning. It's very vaginal. Plant-based is like penis, balls, plant-based. You know what I mean? Like, so I call it plant-based. I don't use the word vegan.
All right. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Plant-based. It's a plant-based cooking show.
Plant-based recipes. That's right.
Right. And I've watched several episodes.
I'll be honest. I'll hashtag vegan just for the searches in my post. But yeah, I don't use the word vegan. But yeah, so I decided to do something that, was almost kind of a calling in a way. I've never had really, like that idea of like, but last November, right after we did Italy and everything, we decided to go plant-based, her and I. And we had been really kind of leaning into it more. It's not one of those things where you can have like, a steak 5 nights a week and then 2 burgers and wings and then say, hey, Monday I'm going vegan.
Yeah.
You can't cross that. There's no threshold for that type of, so you have to start maneuvering your way and eating less things. And what we did is when we got engaged and moved into with each other, we decided we were only going to be pescatarian in the home.
Okay.
So we were never going to eat land animal or anything like that in the home. If I was out on the road or we went out to dinner, sure, I could order a steak, whatever, but we were never going to get that kind of food delivered to the house. We were never going to get that takeout or whatever, or bring it home and cook. So we just said, hey, that was one step. And that really, we cook at home a lot, as much as we can. And I started leaning into it more, and I was feeling better. And then I saw the documentary Game Changers. I don't know if you saw that on Netflix. It's Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger put together this great documentary, and it's called Game Changers, and it's about going plant-based. And it's really cool because it's not one of these meat's bad for you, meat protein's bad for you. It just highlights the differences in what your body reacts to. And it also shows, I'm not I feel bad for Bambi. I'm not so ethical in this idea. I'm more of aging, right? I'm a comic. I'm an independent. I'm my own doctor, and I'm pushing 50. And, I ref basketball on the side. I'm not just a comedian. When there's actually sports, I'm a high school basketball ref here in California. So throughout the winter time, I don't have to go on the road much and have to do that because I can make a decent little coin between November and March here doing high school and youth basketball. And that takes a toll on your legs and your knees and your shins. And
sure.
So, and I want to be active. I love to golf. I'm going golfing with some comics tomorrow. I want to be able to walk the course in my 70s and 80s. And I don't want to be in doctors' offices. I don't want to be on these prescription drugs. I don't want to rely on big pharmacy to get me down the road. So that's the choice I made. And then when you kind of see other things, you see how much water it takes to feed one cow that we're going to slaughter, that we're going to kill. And,
crazy.
Slaughterhouses. And then the calling really came through. That was just me doing it for me.
Yeah.
And then throughout the pandemic, and I started seeing the obesity rates and why people were really dying from this virus. They were dying from this virus because their bodies couldn't handle it. And it's a high percentage. And America is rolling off the rails in deaths and cases, severe cases, and long-term side effects. This virus doesn't just beat you up for 2 weeks if you survive it.
Yeah.
You know, it has respiratory and other cardiac implications down the road. So this was that was when it was the kind of the calling. And I just thought to myself, and I had to relearn cooking, guys. I was, quote unquote, people know me. Some people know me as one of the Rose Bowl tailgate legends because I cooked at all those tailgates at the Rose Bowl with Bill Burr. I mean, I was the chef. I smoked pork butts and beef ribs, and I would make a different menu every year, and egg sandwiches and steak sandwiches and all this kind of stuff, wings, and so I had to relearn all this kind of cooking, and that was fun because I had all the time in the world to do it during the early parts of the pandemic, and that's when we were really kind of hitting our groove as being plant-based and doing more things. And my wife has a culinary degree; she just chose to move on and be an entrepreneur in another field. So we wanted to share them. We wanted to say, hey, look, at the end of the day, if anybody is, maybe it's calling to you, and it's hard, it's overwhelming. Like I said, you can't just eat, a BLT for lunch and a strip steak for dinner and say, I'm going vegan tomorrow. Like you have to take these initiatives. And that's the show I want to do is like, I'm not preaching to you. I'm not like sitting here. I just want to say, hey man, look how easy a taco night can be with some Impossible Burger, all plant-based stuff, butter that's, made from olive oil or a sunflower, different kind of oils that aren't dairy. You're not using dairy, you're using nut cheeses and different things and some good stuff. And as it goes on, I'm 4 episodes in, I'm going to do 12 a year. That's my goal, unless, a big production company jumps in. I'm just doing it all myself on some different mounts, and I'm editing it all. And that's a lot of labor. A lot of work goes into the post of how I want to keep it to a 10-minute thing, but to be able to show everything and be able to do some clever play-by-play. That's what I do along with it. I don't try to force the comedy, but if it comes, I allow it to just be fun and just educating and, little tidbits. And that's, it's, there's a lot of people. It's amazing how much you were saying. I'm a sports guy, and I used to do a sports podcast for a long time that gained some little bit of popularity for me. And I'd get some feedback because of my knowledge, but I'll tell you, I get more feedback. I've gotten more feedback personal in 4 episodes of this cooking show than I would on average for episodes that I talked about the Brown or episodes that I talked about this or, topics or, so it's really interesting what really inspires people and what people, and so many, I had a guy from Pittsburgh who lives in Pittsburgh now, but from Cleveland, and he lives there now. And he used to just come to Hilarities all the time when I first started out as an MC in the early 2000s, 2003 and 4. And he just was always coming to see the headliners. He was just a regular patron. And then he started following me, whatever, my career. And he just reached out to me. I never hear from the guy. He reached out to me, private message, saying, hey, him and his wife are overweight. He wanted to thank me. They're working on somebody's meals. He wants to live longer to see his kids grow up.
Wow.
I mean, that one right there was just like, I just got like a softball in my throat when I read that. And, you don't know. And people are like, I love it. Keep them coming. They're great, and that tells you something. And I think a lot of people really know, like, it's overwhelming. We've been fed a steady diet of bad diet for a long time in this country. And, we take the easy way out and the quick way out. And I'm guilty as anybody for, I was lucky. Maybe I have the genetics. I was always an active guy possibly. And I was able to, keep the terrible eating and drinking and lifestyle of my 20s and 30s, from really kind of taking its toll. I mean, there's some pictures. I look back now and I look at some pictures and I'm like, holy cow, I would go in these ebbs and flows. I was a crash dieter.
No, man.
That's what I used
Wait
to do.
a minute. I got a theory about this. I got a theory because you're from Ohio. I'm from Ohio. And I think, and Pike, being from Minnesota, it's time of year, dude. I'm telling you, it's like there was a great comic, and she had a great joke, and she was on, I saw it was on Conan, and she was like, I'm from Ohio, and I was like, I perked up, and she said, she goes, she lives in LA now, and she said, like, in LA there's not this, it's hard to tell what season it is because it's all kind of consistent weather, but her body tells her what season it is because it just tries to put on a meat coat. You know what I mean? That's what she said. And I think that's what it is, man. I think it's being from cold weather, your body, you just start packing it on for no reason.
It is. And that's why I think, it's so important to break. You got to break, right? You got to break from certain little identities. And you got to, just like a depression, a regret, or whatever haunts you in your life that sometimes people get depressed about and they let it linger, and you've got to deal with that and you've got to shed that to move on. Seasonal depression is the same way. I think, you get trained, right, to be depressed and to feel like this is the time where I just go hibernate. And and to each their own, right? Like I'm not sitting here going, oh, I'm not condemning it. I'm saying I've changed. It's like Rocky IV is like, you can change, I can change.
Yes. At the end, I remember that. Yeah.
But I'm here to attest that. That I'm more clear-headed, I'm more creative. I wouldn't have been able to do this show as quickly and with the idea. I would have never come up with Eat With Meat, crossing it out, and the emblem. And I would have never come up with that if I wasn't so clear-headed. And if I wasn't, I feel clear. I mean, you're actually cutting into my walk. I'm dressed like this because as soon as this interview is over, I'm going for 6 miles. I've been going 6 miles a day, 5 days a week.
Good Lord.
So, but you know what? And when I started this last year and I was reffing all these games, I was reffing sometimes. I would ref a JV varsity or a freshman JV 2-3 times a week. And then on the weekends, pop up at 6 a.m. last December, January, February. And I would ref youth ball from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m., 7, 8, 9 games in a row. And I didn't feel anything in my shins and my ankles. The anti-inflammation was unbelievable how it just reduced. I used to, before, when I was eating meat and all that other stuff, I would ref 6, 8 games in a weekend. And I mean, I couldn't step out of bed on a Monday morning, my shins and my ankles. So all of that, I mean, all of it, my skin, my wife's like, God, your skin's getting so much better. Like, It's true. And she's 15 years younger than me. So, that's,
you're like,
that's
please, yes,
thing.
Keep commenting on how good my skin looks, please, yes.
And she's an esthetician. That's what she does now.
Exactly.
So,
that's why you're like, please.
Yeah. So, I mean, but anyway, I'm just here to attest that, like, and you know what? I'm even a guy that says this on the show. Hey, if you were playing sports and you went 6 out of 7 in anything, if you shot 6 out of 7 from the field, threw 6 out of 7 from quarterback, you'd be doing amazing. And I'll tell you something, if you can even work your way to the discipline, if you can get yourself disciplined to even say, I'm going to go 6 for 7 every week. Because if you're going 6 for 7 every week, then you're going plant-based 25 times a month. And maybe if you get to 6 for 7, maybe you can go like, hey, I want to get my percentage. I'm going to go 13 for 14. And maybe that cheat day or that cheat meal, whatever, maybe it's just a cheat meal. Maybe it's just pizzas on Sunday for football. And then now all of a sudden you're 13 out of 14. Now you're only missing 2 days a month. Now what you're doing is you are committing to a plant-based lifestyle for your body. And your body will be able to flush and to keep all of those toxins, the dairies and these steroids and these hormones that are in all these meats and chickens and stuff. And because those don't go away, especially when you just layer them. It's just like taking opiates, right? You just and all of a sudden you're just eating chicken one day and meat the next. And unless you're buying the best farm raised beef at $30 a pound, this slaughterhouse stuff is carrying crap. I mean, the stuff that you're pulling out of the packaging, that's another thing you can learn. You're pulling the packagings out of the grocery stores that are right for everybody to grab. That's That's slaughterhouse shit.
Yeah.
That is slaughterhouse shit.
Well, hold on a second, though, because
it carries bacteria.
Well, I saw one video where you made an agreement with your wife that you're allowed to cheat like once a quarter or something like that. It was like 4th of July.
Once a season. So here's what I got. I got a one a season. Use it or lose it. It's a use it or lose it too. If I don't eat in the winter season, my cheat meal, and it's just a cheat meal. It's not like a cheat day. I can't like set the alarm for 6 a.m. and just start going in on a pound of bacon for breakfast, and then have brunch with like eggs and then go to lunch and go to like a turkey bar or something. I can't go do like it's a cheat meal. So and I get here's what I get. This was the contract.
Yeah, let me hear the contract.
Really I've been really good. So the contract was one cheat meal a season, use it or lose it. Anytime I'm in New York City, I get a slice of cheese from one place that I go to, or two places that I go to, which is a pizzeria named Scars and another one called Le Industrie, one in Brooklyn and one in the Village. Okay, just cheese slices. That's it. And if we ever travel internationally, I get the fare. I'm not spending $5,000 to go to Italy and not having prosciutto, or you know what I mean? Come on,
yes,
or whatever we do.
Yes.
Come on, and so that's the deal. But the good thing is we haven't traveled. I haven't gone to New York since the pandemic or anything. And I've done my meals. So my cheats were. So far, I did a spring cheat, which was my favorite pizza joint in here, Del Mar Pizza. It's fantastic. So I get a pepperoni pizza, and I did that. And I was really moving along at a really good clip, And then we were about a month into the pandemic, and I was just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to, because I was like, I might be able to go without my cheat. I was thinking I might be able to go without even using the spring one. And then I'm like, screw it. And then July 4th, I made short ribs because at that point I just wanted to like cook I wanted a project to do. Yeah. And short ribs, my marinade, it's an overnight thing. It's a slow cook Dutch
I watched the whole
process.
thing. I was watching every single one.
I posted the whole thing. That's right. I posted the whole thing.
I loved it.
Yeah, that was good. So I did that, and then on our anniversary, the first day of fall is our anniversary, the 21st. We went out to a really nice Italian. September 21st was our first year anniversary. So we went out to a nice Italian restaurant out here, and I got that's my favorite. My favorite cuisine is Italian, fine Italian. Meatballs, prosciutto, caprese salad with fresh mozzarella, all that kind of good stuff. So I did the fixins there. And I'm debating whether my winter one is going to be on Christmas or New Year's Eve. I haven't decided yet.
Well, you're doing it right. You're playing the right cards here. It's not like you're just blowing it on a cheeseburger from a fast food joint.
I'm not like because I didn't get a gig or the part, I'm just running off and just shoving my face in something and hiding behind the dumpster with tears. No, I've got this well thought out, guys. This is I'd be smart. A fraud. My show would be a fraud if I didn't have this well planned and well executed. Now, my goal is now here's what I set a goal for 2021, and my goal is not to use the domestics. Hopefully, we can travel, right? Hopefully, we get a travel in. Or I go to New York for a gig. That's what I'm praying for. So my goal is I'm not going to use the domestic meals. Okay. And I'm also going to quit drinking for 2021. Not that I drink a lot anymore, but New Year's Eve, we're going to have a little wine and some margaritas. And then 2021, I'm going dry.
All year? Really? The whole year?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Well, I mean, if the Browns win the Super Bowl, I'm okay. But no, I'm serious. I'm gonna do that. That's my next goal. So my next goal is to get to that, and and then
you're gonna live forever.
I don't want to live forever. I'm not one of those guys. I just want to drop dead healthy on the golf course at 85. Just give me 85 and put me down when I don't know what's coming. I don't want to. I just don't want to be chronic. and I don't want to live like that, and
Yeah.
that's where this is going for a lot of people with the obesity rates and how, America,
Yeah.
it's sad. Like, it's not fat shaming, but, it's the facts that, people are chronically, hospitals are full of lots of people, not just COVID patients,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, they say, what,
so
I was listening to NPR and they were saying that, and this is years ago, but like the number one underlying health condition for all these, like the number one killer is heart disease, right? And everything that associates with that. The number two is cancer. The number three, and it goes down. And they're saying the underlying condition for most of, like 90% of everyone, it's all obesity. They're like, it's just obesity. Yeah, it's not just
all it is.
Yeah,
it's all it is.
The body can't handle it.
And nope. And we've got to do more for ourselves. Like people, I think, like I really just try to we walk to the grocery store. It's a little bit of a walk, and I'll tell you what. Sometimes my arms are burning. I'm carrying 2 or 3 bags, two plastics in one and something. But you know what? By the time you get home, you put it all down. You're like, I was better for that. I was better than I had. We started giving our bags to the valet, and nobody carried their bags to their room anymore. Nobody walks up a flight of stairs to get to the 3rd floor anymore. And so that's just all a little bit of being. And that's what you're joking, I'm going to live forever. But these are the things I'm deciding to be cognizant of, are taking more steps every day. Making sure it's 5 days a week, eating these types of things, making sure I'm getting my proteins. Proteins are one thing that I'm going to go over in some future episodes, because a lot of people are like, well, where do you get your protein? And it's like, well, there's a lot of different ways you can get your proteins. And lentils is a great one. If you're plant-based, you'll eat lentils like a stoner eats cereal. I mean, it's just, they are just like, oh my God, just like, you come home from work and you're like, give me something,
Yeah, but I gotta commend you on this though, because this is like, what I think is the coolest thing about Eat With Me. And my wife and we watch a lot of cooking shows as it is. So it was cool to see that, especially, we started on like Food Network and stuff, but we've even migrated over to YouTube, and we're watching a lot of cooking shows over there on YouTube.
There's some great ones.
Great ones. So I was excited that you did it, but I was like really happy that you're also doing other shit besides comedy. And I was telling Pike, I told you this at the beginning when the pandemic was all going on, that you got to come out of this thing better. That's like my goal. Yeah. Come out of the pandemic better, because most people aren't going to come out of this fucking thing better than they went in. You know what I mean? Even if everything has hit the fan, like you said, Jason, like, comedy shut down, cooking things shut down. Your wife, she's in the beauty industry, shut down. It's like, Jesus, how do you still come out of this on top? You know what I mean? And I think by either pivoting or exploring your passions and also bringing you in, like your personality and what you could do with comedy, but also bringing it into the culinary world, I think it's amazing. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of balls to do that and just go, you know what, I'm going to give it a try. It's something new. You know what I mean? I don't care what people think or whatever. And I'm happy that the reaction has been positive, because I started, again, I like it. It's a great thing to watch. I watch it on Instagram. I don't know if do you post it other places?
Well, here's what I'm going to do is, once I get to episode 6, so I have a Vimeo account where my comedy special is, and you can purchase it there. And then I put the Vimeo that the main episode lives in a Vimeo link. That's where it houses, where I can start sharing it and everything else. When I get to episode 6, once I get to episode 6, I'm going to do 12. I'm doing 2 a month for 6 months, and then I'm just going to take. It's too hot to cook in the summer, and I like to be active, and I'm hoping. So this is going to be season 2. I'm going to come right back around in November again and take it up a notch and maybe go a little bit more ambitious with some of the really fine delicacies. of plant-based and even get like really concentrated on health a little bit more than just right now. I just don't want to intimidate people. I want to show them how they can make a Taco Tuesday. I want to show them how they can make an easy pizza. I want to show them how plant-based is. So I want people to come along with me right now, and we're learning together. That's my first line of my opening episode is let's learn this thing together. I'm teaching myself the whole ball of wax.
I love it.
So, but my whole point, and I appreciate everything you said, and not all the feedback's great. I mean, I got a lot of old buddies, heads from Ohio, giving me shit about it. There's still those guys.
Yeah, of course.
But no, and the thing is you're right. And I was telling a buddy of mine, and getting back to coming out of this. Right. And it's not just this. I'm trying to, I have another little passion project. My dad was a basketball coach. I'm trying to do these little vignette documentaries only. I'm building little trailers, and I'm building little stories that I'm hoping to put like little 10 or 15 minute, like 30 for 30s out on some of his teams and some of his rivalries and just things like that. I have all this, material and content. So it's something I love and want to share with people. I'm working on stuff like that. But I told a friend of mine that was down a little bit back in Ohio, and he's in the restaurant business, and and just tough. He's just dealing with it a tough time, right? His kids are having a tough time with school and remote and all the kind of just all that stuff. And and I just told him, the one thing, echoing what you were just saying, is, the clouds will part. Let yourself be led by the light inside of you. If you do that and you just follow that light, that when the clouds part, you will be ready. And the people that do that allow themselves to do that and aren't screaming in the face of this all the time and flailing at delusions of who and why and what and all the things that are to blame and what those are the people, the former, not the latter, that will come out, as you're saying. And I can tell that that's the attitude you're taking is,
man.
And that's the only advice I could give to anybody that might be thinking of, what do I do next? Well, dig deep and figure out something that you love that nobody else can do or something, and even if the start of it is maybe for somebody to start to kind of might be going Christmas morning and helping a food kitchen out, or just taking a bag of something to the food bank on Christmas morning might be the start to just saying, okay, here's that inspired me to get a little more creative and do something for myself to make myself feel better. And it'll make other people feel better if you do it, because like what you just said, I'm getting people that are feeding back the feedback you gave me. I appreciate it, man. Like, I've gotten some great calls from people early on, the first couple episodes, that I didn't even know were paying attention to my career or my life, and some people that really I admire and that were like, dude, this is great. I mean,
that's amazing.
I watched the whole thing, and who knows? My wife loves it. We're having fun in the kitchen together. I got to tell you, I've got 4 episodes out. I don't know how many I've got in a can. I don't know how many things I've just screwed up that I take. And I'm like, no, that ain't going in. That's not an episode, because I did it for the first time, right? Yeah. So, but and so it's kept us kind of doing something together, because she's a great cook and has a lot of great ideas, and she comes into some of the episodes with me, and I'm gonna keep featuring her a little bit. And she's a little stage fright. She's not a in front of the camera type person. That's all right. She leaves that for me, but she loves what the little added ingredient is with her in the show, and showing some of her, and she's got some amazing recipes, being an actual culinary degree chef. So
amazing.
Yeah, we're having fun, man. We're making the best of it.
Absolutely
San Diego isn't the worst place to live when you're going through it. You know?
Come on, give me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 6 mile walk. It's like
we're going to the farm. We're going to the farmers market the Sunday after Christmas. How good is that? I got to get I got to get some fresh tomatoes for my caprese salad. I think I'm going to make. I think New Year's Eve is going to be my cheat night.
Oh,
I think I'm going to get one of those pizzas that I told you about, and then make my own caprese salad with fresh mozzarella.
I absolutely love it. As long as it's not soggy.
Right?
Yes, that's exactly right. There's nothing wrong with Oh, what's up, Pike?
I got to say, I living in Florida, so I moved what you said, fresh food. I was so excited to have the oranges, right? Florida's big orange state. I get to the grocery store in the oranges. I look at the label and they're from California. I'm like, what? It made no sense. Logistically, I could not figure out.
What the hell?
That's funny. The people in Florida must be smoking out of their oranges. They're probably using them. They're probably using them to smoke some, but they're probably taking all the oranges. There's just a bunch of oranges on the ground with little screens in them.
That's
burnout screens
I've seen them
all over Florida.
That's
that
the
makes
Tropicana
sense.
straw sticking out. It's for smoking bath salts.
Exactly. Orange flavored bath salts, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Jesus. Look, Jason, I am more than delighted that you've made a presence on the show. Thank you so much for doing it. I got a plug. It's at Eat With Me TV on Instagram. Go there, see it for yourself. I'll drop the Vimeo link in the description of this episode.
And if anybody wants to as well, which I'd like to also offer in these pandemic times, and it's kind of been successful, if you go to my networks, any of my socials, I have my first comedy special up, and I sell it for $5 download. But I've also, throughout the pandemic, especially people that might be in the restaurant and service industry, if you Venmo or PayPal me anything you want, $1, whatever, I will send you your own private link that you can download and own my headlining special from the Comedy Store in La Jolla. And you can maybe see my first special that I put out, which I'm really proud of, that I did myself and low budget indie style, but in an intimate club. So that's an offer for anybody. If you wanted to just give somebody a stocking stuffer for Christmas and say, or this isn't airing, but whatever. I'm doing that almost just indefinitely until I shoot my next one, because the economy and people are rough, and send me a Venmo, a PayPal email, say, hey man, I got $1 or whatever, and I'll get you out a special. Yeah.
Isn't that nice? Look at that. Look at that. And this is the special. This is Pay It Backwards. Is this the one you're talking about?
Pay It Backwards. Yeah, my debut special, Pay It Backwards, which I really liked, and which is really funny because I shot it right before our wedding, and then by the time I edited and got it out, I released it like a week before the freaking end of February, a week before the lockdown. I mean, I was doing all this big release stuff, like trying to get people on board, and then everybody just went. But people were still really good in the beginning, and then I did when the pandemic hit. That was the idea, was for servers and bartenders to say, $1. You give me $1, I'll send them out to anybody or for anybody. And then I just did like a 48-hour middle of the pandemic. I did a 48-hour thing, and I said, just post anybody's name on my wall that works in healthcare, that's in emergency rooms or the front lines, and I'll send it to them for free. So over about a 48-hour span, I sent out like 159 free specials to people that I didn't even know, mostly that I didn't even know. And
awesome.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to do that here. I just coordinated with some reps from the fire department out here in California. The guys that fight all the forest, men and women that fight the wildfires. And then I'm going to do a similar, they're going to send a newsletter out in the union, and they can just send me something if they want. And I'm going to donate my comedy special to any firefighter. That's
killer, dude. That's that's a brilliant idea too. It's like a way, how could you say thank you?
The whole point is pay it forwards with pay it backwards. That's where I'm going with it. So
I absolutely love it. Make sure you're following him. You're at Lawhead's Court on Instagram. I put your Twitter up here because I see you on Twitter all the time.
That's Twitter. Yep.
At Jason
Love
Lawhead.
It, those are where I'm usually at. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jason Lawhead, you're the man. Thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Pike night meeting you, Matt. Enjoy. Yeah. Go Browns. We didn't even get to talk about them, but hopefully, I will do this interview anytime. Especially if we could just talk Browns next time. We don't have to talk food and anything.
Yes.
We don't have to. Listen, we don't have to be inspiring all the time.
All right, well, have you
a great
back.
Christmas,
we'll
guys.
talk Browns. All right, man. Take it easy. Thanks so much.
See you, man.